All right, what's good, everyone? So today I did my first ever client interview with my friend Dylan, and he was able to grow his page from 300 followers. And after posting for about 6 months, he was seeing barely any results. He grew it to about 300 followers. Took a break, a really long break, and decided to hop back into the things and really start growing it again at the start of 2021. That's when he got help with me. He's my first client, so I'll be honest with you, I was not 100% sure if things were going to work out or not, but here we are today. He's gone to 12K followers, and this is like a e-commerce brand, or I hate calling it an e-commerce brand, just a brand that's really focused on giving back to the environment, giving back to nature, and yeah, we were able to get him from 300 followers to 12K followers. And what he decides to do with that audience is up to him. I mean, he's building a lot of things on the back end, but this is what we've been able to help him do. And in this interview, just really going through the journey, and probably you'll get some gems out of it. So if you want the same sort of transformation as him, feel free to schedule a one-on-one call with me where I'll be talking to you directly and really just seeing and diagnosing where you are, where you want to get to, and really what's keeping you from getting there. You know, what you're struggling with in your business or your brand. And if I think I can help and I think would be a good fit to work together, like me and Dylan, then I won't be afraid to make an offer. And if it makes sense for you, then we can move forward and, get to the business and the life that you really want and you've always dreamt of. So instead of procrastinating on it or just skipping through this, if you're just curious, even feel free to book that call in the description below. But without wasting any more time, here's the interview with Dylan. So hope you enjoy.
Get it. Let's get it going.
Let's go. So I'm excited for this, man. I've always wanted to do this interview, but I don't know why it hasn't crossed my mind sooner. Just because you've been crushing it. You've been crushing it in the time that we've worked together. Uh, and I'm pretty proud of how far you've gotten. So I think it's now time to really just check in on how things are, and if we can get any gems from this recording. It's going to go up on YouTube. It might go up on Instagram as well. Just anything to really just people who are on the fence, or people who have always been thinking about growing. This might be the thing that pushes them over. So yeah, I just want to check in on you, man, and walk us through the growth so far and how the journey's been. If you want to, you can also introduce yourself to people who don't know you, and how you got started and where you were before.
Yeah, so Dylan Weagant, I'm the owner of Bring Nature Back. I've started this back in 2020, right around, I think, April or May in 2020, kind of during quarantine. It was a quarantine project, I would guess you could say. So I was growing that for a while, just kind of posting. Didn't really know exactly where I wanted to go or what my vision was for it. I just knew I wanted to build like a clothing brand and nature inspired. That's all I wanted to do. Um, and then so I was just kind of posting nature related content at the time, just growing ever so slightly, couple followers here and there. And then I kind of took a break, I guess, because I didn't really have a good idea of what I wanted to do. So I was just like, well, let's put it off for a while, and then come back to it. And then I started back up around 20, the beginning of 2021, I think is when we started talking.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was
Uh,
yeah, 2021.
yeah, I think it was like February. Like I started back up in like January, and I think February is when we first connected. And then I kind of hopped on the program, and I was at maybe I think 300 followers at the time.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, really, really small.
yep. And then we kind of figuring things out as we went, kind of seeing what exactly worked. So we were kind of really just testing things. Um, and then it was like around April is when we had our first couple viral clips, I guess you could say. And then we kept posting for a while, and then I was able to grow pretty rapidly to 12K followers. So, and then I kind of was starting to work on the influencer side of things. You know how I wanted to grow that side. So I've been kind of really working on that for right now, and not haven't been posting as much, but I'm getting back into the grind of things just because I got that side unlocked now. And then I'm saying 2022 is going to be huge for Bring Nature Back. So watch out.
Oh, for sure, man. I can't wait. Can't wait to see the growth. So really just starting from scratch, and then you were trying things here and there. Took a break, and then decided one day, you know what? I've been putting this off for a while. I think I should get back into it because it could be something big in the future. So if I really just put my head down and got back into the swing of things, then um, I could really grow this again. So is that where it was kind of at before?
Yeah. Well, like I said, there wasn't really a set plan of what I wanted to do or how I wanted to build this or really what the goal in mind was for it. So since there was real no definite goal, uh, I kind of was just like, okay, we can throw it off on the back burner then. Like since I don't have the definite steps and the definite goal of or how I want to reach this goal, then I'm just like, okay, what's the point? Let me just throw it off. I can come back to it another day. But once I, actually made that like North Star and then the steps to get to there, then it's just like, okay, every single day I'm going to be doing these things every day. And eventually I'm going to reach them. So that's kind of where I saw success was doing everything or something consistently every day.
Yeah, that's big having that. 'Cause that's the problem when you don't have anything, you don't have an end goal, like you said, a North Star, then you really have room to wander off and do your own thing, or maybe not do
Yeah.
anything at all. Yeah, so apart from those, so you said it's amazing advice to have a North Star, have a goal, and then knowing your non-negotiables, like what you have to do every single day consistently. What are some other key takeaways that you got? Um, and what are the key takeaways that have gotten to where you are now?
Um, really don't be afraid to fail and learn to test and be open to really testing a ton of different ideas and taking your time with it because you're not going to have viral post every single post. You might have one that you think is going to do very good and it doesn't do as good as you think, and then there's going to be one that you think that's going to be like, oh, I'm just posting it for the sake of posting it, and it pops off. Like I've had that all the time happen to me all the time.
All the
Like
time.
I'll have someone post, I'll post something at like 10 o'clock at night because so you have 3 posts a day, and that one I wake up to with like 10,000 views, and I'm like, what is going on here? So you just have to just throw content out there really, and don't be afraid of seeing 10,000 for one view or for one post and then like 200 for the next. Like it is what it is. Um, and then just being, uh, what was the other one I said? It was like, don't be afraid of failing. And then what was the other one?
Just I think we said testing.
Yeah, testing, like reels, carousels, just regular post videos. Just you have to throw stuff out there to see what works. That's what we did when we first started. We were kind of just throwing a lot of different things out there, minute changes on each one. And then, if we see something that goes viral, we really dissect it and be like, okay, why did it do this? How can we replicate that? And then we really just do the exact same thing for the next post and see if it works. And then kind of keep doing the exact same thing. Because once you find that formula, it's pretty easy after that to get good amount of views on each post.
Oh my, yep. That's the formula, man. I mean, it's so easy to make assumptions, especially in the beginning. You'd be making assumptions about not just you, but anyone who's starting out, and it's natural. You just make assumptions about, how big is this post going to go if I post it this time, and then as soon as you do this more, you start to realize that it's all very like minor details. It's just more about listening to, what your audience responds well with. Did you have some trouble with that in the beginning? I think we did. Like I was really trying to convince you to just throw stuff out there. But let me know.
I would say, I mean, yeah, in the beginning, we were kind of posting a bunch of different content, videos, carousels, reels, um, and we were getting some good engagement, nothing too crazy. But then once we figured out exactly what was working, then the engagement kind of started popping off. Um, I would say like video side of things, just like videos within the feed isn't the best option. Reels obviously are the best for growth. And then maybe carousels for second. It's really what I found is what keeps the user on your post the longest, or is what drives a ton of traffic to you.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's different for everyone, but we wouldn't have known that if we've been afraid of testing things and just
Yeah,
letting
yeah,
certain things
exactly.
flop, letting things go viral, whatever it needed to happen. None of it would have
Yeah,
been learned if we didn't
I
test.
remember getting like 100 and something, like 100, maybe 200 likes a post, and then I'd post something completely different, irrelevant, the next one, and I was getting like 15 likes, and I was like, well, this kind of sucks. But we tested it for a while, then we realized that it wasn't really worth it, so we kind of cut back off of those kind of style of post, and then figured out what worked. So it really is just trial and error for a while there.
Exactly. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's what a lot of business owners need to hear, honestly. Taking imperfect action. I mean, apart from that, what are some other false beliefs that you had? Probably maybe about growing on Instagram, or really about business, and maybe about you've learned a lot about your own brand that you've overcome and just really helped you get to where you are today. So, you're really sorting things out on the back end, but you've got the audience and you've really got things lined up. So, what were some like false beliefs before that you had that you've overcome? And then, it's helped you to get where you are today.
One big false belief is just not being able you can't to do, or that you can do it. Um, Kind of like the imposter syndrome, really. You're like, oh, I'm just this kid that is trying to do this. Like I shouldn't be able to. I'm only 22. Like I should be doing that, like college, be going to college, getting my degree, not trying to build an Instagram, trying to build a brand and build a business. You kind of get those thoughts that come into your head, but then if you follow the right people, you kind of realize that a lot of people are doing the unthinkable or the path less taken. Especially online, you can follow a bunch of people that are just like that. That were like, hey, college isn't the right path, or like whatever they say. So that was like one big um, thought process I had, was just the limiting belief and thinking, oh, I'm not good enough to actually do it. But like at the end of the day, who really cares? It's what I want to do. It's what I want to build. It's my life, nobody else's. So it's kind of just like stick the middle finger up to anybody that naysays you and just keep going, because it's at the end of the day, at the end of my life, hey, I tried. I actually tried to do something. If it fails, it fails. If not, I can at least say, hey, I tried something and I wasn't, uh, for the lack of what better words, I wasn't a pussy and didn't do it, So that's one huge big thing right there. But a couple of other ones too, I guess, were just not knowing exactly the business side of things, not knowing really what to do, because you can have all of this front end stuff good to go, like, oh hey, I have a big page, but it's what's your next move? Okay, you have all this traffic, what are you going to do with it? Like, you have to find a good way to monetize it. So you have to also have that kind of in place so you can actually get customers, and then a good way to retain those customers too. So you should always have somewhat of an idea of how to monetize your following. For me, that was like the clothing side of things. And then also building that out to where I work with other influencers on the page itself, just to bring more awareness to it also. So I think those two are the biggest ones, is kind of don't let your thoughts control you. And then always make sure you have it's not a backup plan, but a plan just in case.
100%. Love it. So really just doing you, because this is your life.
Yeah,
No one else
exactly.
no one can tell you how to live it. And then also just having a plan, just really knowing, even if it's not 100%, because you
Yeah,
still have to trial and error things. Like, even if it's not 100%, at least you have an idea on where to take things next. Because that was a big. I see this happen a lot as well. As these guys, they grow these pages and they don't know how to. They don't have a plan to monetize off it. And then you just got a bunch of traffic sitting around, and you're not really doing anything with it. So, some great takeaways, man.
yeah. I guess another bit of advice would be always take action, like always be doing something. Don't become stagnant, because once you become stagnant, you kind of start losing that motivation and that edge that you had. I mean, I can speak from personal experience. We got to 12K followers and I kind of took a small little break again, and I lost all that momentum. So now I'm building it back up again. So it is what it is. I mean, I know that I'm going to be hitting high numbers again, because I know what to do. I know what works and what doesn't. So just a matter of time before I'm at 100K. So that's all I got to say.
Exactly, man. That's the great thing as well. You know what to do, and you can do it again, man. You really
Yeah.
can do it again.
Yeah. It's nice because it's one of those skill sets that, hey, if this nature inspired theme page doesn't work out, I can go build a different one, whether that be fitness or business or, who knows, anything. I can build a page off of the skill set I have and probably make it way more profitable in a year than most people can trying to figure it out themselves, because I'm already like 10 steps ahead of somebody, which I think is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like when I first got started compared to now, like I think I asked this during one of our weekly calls, is how do you feel now that you've gotten the experience of been through the trenches? You kind of have an eye on what works and what doesn't, and you really just have it. You really kind of just know what to do in the back of your hand. That's a beautiful thing. Because after you're doing it for a while, it just clicks.
Yeah, I can easily scroll through. Like, I have a big list of influencers that I kind of connect with, and I'll share their content on my page. And I like, oh hey, can I share this or share anything on here? And they'll sometimes even send me posts to share, and that's even
Wow.
better because it's less work for me. It's just like, okay, let me throw it up here real quick. But kind of just scrolling through and seeing exactly what kind of content I think would pop, or what I know would pop off, is huge, because it's I've, like you said, I've been through the trenches. You know, doing I've been doing all the testing and the trial and error. So I know exactly what works and what doesn't. So it's so much easier for me to find a piece of content that's going to get hundreds, if not thousands of views, compared to the normal, like maybe 100 likes, might get thousands. So it's, it's not guaranteed because the algorithm is kind of weird, but I know what I post has a way better chance of going viral. So it's pretty nice.
Exactly. And this is, I know I'm going to get a couple of people who are like, oh, you're just growing as followers. Is that what you do? Well, what would you say to those people? Because this is more than just getting followers and getting a bit of clout. You know, you're building a real brand here. You're building something pretty major back. So to talk me through, well, it's
Yeah,
more than followers, man. It's about building a really a tribe.
yeah, it's building like a cult-like following. It's not okay, yeah, I have 12,000 followers, but if none of them actually do anything, then what's the point? I could it's some people can sell with like 100 followers, or they could make more money off of 100 followers than somebody that has like 10,000 followers. Like follower count does not matter. It's how engaged you are, or how engaged they are in your content, how much they care about you and how much they actually look up to you, and how much you provide value to them. So that's really what matters. Um, for me, it's the reason why I wanted to get so many followers is it's more of like I guess you could say status symbol, but it's more of, hey, I have these 12,000 followers. I kind of know a thing or two about Instagram. So, when I try to reach out to other people, it's kind of like a mutual agreement. Hey, let's work together. Um, I can provide this value for you. And then in return, we have to do this. It's like a mutual agreement. We both can connect on something. That's kind of what my idea was. So we both have uh, like the mutual interest of nature and travel and the environment and everything. So like, hey, let's both work together and do good, because what we're doing is donating back to the environment or to like different charities. Uh, so we grow that friendship there, but it's like, hey, I can also help you on this side of things, and then you can provide value, whether that's like a lot of them are photographers, so they can give me like photography tips or travel tips or something like that. So it's a win-win. It's that at the end of the day. Uh, but kind of recapping, it's not about followers, because you could have 100,000 followers, and if none of them really care what you do and they just follow you just because you look good, or like like IG models, like if no one cares, like it's a girl posting bikini pics, but they have 100,000 followers that are dudes, they're not going to buy your workout program. Okay, at the end of the day, it's not going to happen. So it matters who your followers are. You have to kind of make a definite plan of who exactly you want to follow and your intention and value that you bring to them and that's kind of how you can kind of convert followers into actual customers. And if they find that you actually do bring them a ton of value, then they probably will be a lifetime customer, which is huge at the end of the day.
Priceless, for sure. Yeah, and that's a great thing as well. Like if you're really if you really mean what you say you're talking about, and you're here to provide value, not just to get a quick buck, then they'll see that your potential clients or people who you're going to collaborate with in the future, they're going to see that. They're going to your intentions are going to reflect off, even if it's through Instagram or like social platform where you're not face to face. It will still reflect off, and you're going to attract those kind of people who have that. You share the same sort of mission. You're here to do good. They're here to do good. So let's build something great. And obviously having that audience, having that K next to the number of followers you have, I mean, it's cool, but at the same time, you can put it to good use. Like, it gives you that extra boost, that extra social proof. You're not another one of those travel or charity pages or e-com pages that people are brushing past, because that's the one thing you want. That's one of the things you wanted to fix, right? At the start, I remember you saying that.
Yeah,
being respected, really being an authority.
yeah. I know on the like the e-commerce, like the direct to consumer side of things, especially with social media having a big following or follower count, kind of having that big number by your name is worth it because people respect that, especially if you are direct to consumer. Now, if you're more of like a mentor or courses, stuff like that, doesn't matter as much because it just how much value do you bring. But
I
if you're
want to
selling
interject
to
as well. Just want to interject quickly as well. A lot of these like ecom pages, and they fake or they buy their followers as well just to get that. But you can look out. We have the receipts, and we really just built this from almost scratch. We did it all organically, not breaking any rules. So yeah, I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt, but continue
yeah,
saying that a lot of people
exactly.
fake it.
um it's kind of wild to me seeing that because PacSun, a huge clothing brand, if you go follow their Twitter, they have a ton of followers. I don't know the exact amount, but they get like 5 likes a tweet. So it's kind of like it's kind of weird, but I mean they're highly respected brand. They're huge, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're starting out and you have a couple hundred followers and somebody sees that, it might throw them off a little bit because they're like, because in today's day and age, if you have a high follower count, people just love that. People respect you more. I don't know why, but it's just how it is in today's day and age. So just being able to have that 12K by my name, people see that when I DM them and they're like, oh, okay, he's actually legit. He's not gonna try to, I guess, scam me or something,
And you got the content to back it up as well.
Exactly. I have the content. I have pretty much
The story
everything.
behind it. You got the story behind it. You got, you show where you started as well. You can see the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's all laid out there for you. So you can obviously tell that I mean what I say and what I do. So people, when I connect with them and they actually genuinely see that I care, and I have this, they're like, oh, he actually means business. Like he's not just trying to pull a quick one. And a lot of people do see or really can feel that when you actually are just trying to pull one quick one because of kind of the way you act and just how everything goes. So yeah, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day your follower count, because if you actually are true with what you do and you actually mean what you say and do, it doesn't matter, but it does help a little bit. I will say that.
Yeah, 100%. And what would you really say to, just to close things off now? What would you really say to brand owners who are just getting started? Maybe they're a beginner, or really just someone who wants to start a business off their passion or their purpose, their calling. What would you say to them if they're just starting out or in the position you were, almost a year ago? And how would you sort of encourage them to grow and like take the first steps or really just break those like limiting beliefs? Pretty much like if you were to go back in time and say something to the old Dylan, what would you say?
One is really define exactly your end goal, like 30 years from now, where do you want this to be at? And then backtrack from there. It's so much easier to pick what you want to have happen and then reverse engineer how that works instead of going from day to day, like, okay, what do I need to do now? What do I need to do now? Once you have a plan set out for that long of a time, you pretty much do know, hey, when I wake up, this is what I got to do for the day. This is what I have to have finished. So having a plan, really definite plan, is one huge thing. Second is try to learn as much as possible. Really follow people um, that are in your niche, that are really 5 steps ahead of you, because everybody's like, oh, I'm going to be the I want to be the next Jeff Bezos. I want to be the next Elon Musk. I want to be the next Steve Jobs. Like, dog, have, they're literally the top of the world. Like, literally net worths, like top 10 net worths in the world. Like, what they do today does not matter, like, for you, like, at all. Like, if you go back in time when they first started it and were following their routines, then it might actually work. But what they do today is not going to help you at all. So follow people that are actually doing what you want to do and are only really like 10 steps or like 5 steps ahead of you, because they were just in your shoes, so they can give you the best advice on what to do. And they're pretty much, and if you follow really what they do and put your own spin on it, then you're pretty much almost guaranteed success, because you see it obviously working for them. And then another one would be the imposter syndrome, or kind of like the self-doubts. That one's kind of, I think if you have a definite plan, it doesn't really affect you as much, because if you have this plan and you're actually working on towards it every single day, you become more and more confident in your ability to do it, and you just become more confident in yourself. So you can actually have those thoughts and you're just like, dude, I don't even care. Like, okay, yeah, I'm this 22-year-old that's going to build a uber successful business by the time he's, whatever age. Like, yeah, I'm going to. That's it. Like, there's no like negative self-talk about that anymore. It's like, okay, what's another wild idea that I have that I can go pursue? And then another thing also starting out is honestly try to get mentors as soon as possible, because if you have no idea what you're doing in the slightest, like I said before, try to follow somebody that's 5 steps ahead of you. That's huge, because you can learn everything that doesn't work so much faster and find out what does work so much faster, so you can double down on what works and get to success so much faster. Because like what we did before I even connected with you, I was posting for 6 months, maybe a little more than that, by myself, and I gained 300 followers. And then after we kind of were implementing things and figured out exactly what was working, within that same time frame, I grew to 12K. So figuring out, or like I said, if you can find somebody that can actually help you succeed, try to do whatever is possible to work with them, because it's just going to help you in the long run. Like whether that's courses or just mentorships or reading books, like try to learn as much as possible.
Love it, man. Those are some amazing takeaways. I hope people watching this, they actually take what you say, and it doesn't just go through one ear out the other, that they actually internalize it and use it to grow their own brand. And I say my last question, or second to last question, is what would you say to people who, they might be watching this, but they're still on the fence, or they have still a couple of doubts on, getting some help, getting some coaching, maybe it's to even just grow their brand? Or what would you say to them who are on the fence?
Why not try? Like, if you don't try, you'll never know. So for me, I'd rather try and fail than live my life always wondering what if. So if you're on the fence, just do it. Like, what's the worst that happens? You waste 6 months of your life. Like, okay, you figured out something that doesn't work. Let's go pivot and try to find something else. Like, there's always something. So just go for it. Like, nothing's bad is gonna happen.
That's the thing. Like, that's really true, man. Because people will go in and they'll think, what if it works, but what if it fails? Well, if you don't get to the result you wanted, you know, after this couple months, there's no way you're going backwards. There's no way after getting some help, even if either like me or just someone else like me, that anyone who you follow, any coach, consultant, or mentor that you follow, regardless of who they are, if you decide to work with them and it doesn't turn out, things don't turn out the way you are still like 5 steps ahead
Yeah.
from where you were last time. So how?
Yeah, exactly.
No loss.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you learn, like, if somebody goes through your program or like your coaching and they don't see the success, they already still know the key fundamentals. So what did they really lose? Like nothing,
Exactly.
really at all. They know what they need to do and what they don't need to do. And then once they figure out how to kind of use that in whatever niche they want to do, then the sky's the limit for them.
Exactly. And who knows, like you learn the fundamentals, and then let's say you're expecting something to pop off after month 3, doesn't pop off. Let's say month 4, something clicks, and then that's when it pops off. So
Yeah,
you
exactly.
never know. You never know.
Yeah. And there's no binary like right or wrong with the algorithm. The algorithm is the algorithm. Like some things pop off that shouldn't, and some things don't pop off that should. So you really can't beat yourself up at the end of the day on
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah, and we had reels. I remember we had 2 back-to-back reels went viral, but it took some time for it to really get momentum. That's the thing with these reels sometimes. Not to go off on too much of a tangent, but sometimes it takes a couple of weeks for them to really start going up, start getting traction. Like
Yeah.
They hit like 500K views.
I want to say it was like 600 and 400 or something. I think they were both.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly. But that was wild. My phone was blowing up literally for a week straight. It was actually nuts.
You could handle it, bro. You tell me.
Yeah, I literally had to put my phone on do not disturb because my phone was just like buzzing every second. Like it was awful. It was awesome, but it was awful.
Good problem to have.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good problem.
Good problem. But yeah, great interview, man. And I just want to ask, like, what's next for you?
Right now, I got a couple of things in the works with some influencers. So we're gonna hopefully in the next month or here, I'll have something popping up with that. Right now, kind of just still trying to grow my brand, get it out there as soon as or to as many people as possible. But I'm just kind of still grinding, man. That's all I'm doing.
Sweet.
I don't want to give too many things away.
Yeah, as you should.
So yeah,
a little bit surprised.
Yeah, exactly. I'll let my work do the talking. That's all I gotta say.
Sweet, man. Well, I really enjoyed this, man. It's my first time doing this interview. So I hope it was I hope you had fun as well. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you're watching this, you're still on the fence, you heard Dylan. If you know you need help and it's really in your gut feeling, then I suggest you go to the description or go to one of the first comments and book a call. Even if you're just curious, really just want to see if it works for you. We'll see where you are, where you want to get to, and then really what's stopping you from getting there. Because I know the main thing I want to do for you guys is to just skip the guesswork, skip, a couple years of guessing, failing, because I know how frustrating that is. So, again, if you're just curious, if you want to grow your brand, book a call with me. And yeah, thanks for your time, Dylan.
Hey, yeah, I appreciate it.
Again.
Yes, sir.